Welcome back to Zodiac Psycho podcast listeners.
Oh, yeah.
Ready to dive into a world of numerical intrigue.
I am.
We're talking angel numbers, specifically 9, 12, 12.
Uh-huh.
And trust me,
Okay.
it's more fascinating than you might think,
It is.
even if you're not usually into this kind of thing.
I can see that.
Speaking of fascinating, don't forget to check out our blog for more amazing content and offers the links in the description below.
Yes, it's true. We've got two very different sources on 912.
Okay.
One, all about spiritual growth. The other, diving deep into numerology and data analysis.
Oh, wow.
It's like the universe met a statistician for coffee and we get to eavesdrop on their conversation.
Okay, now I need to hear that joke later.
Uh-huh.
But first, let's
Yeah.
unpack this angel number.
Okay.
Both sources break down the meanings of 9, 1, and 2.
Uh-huh.
9 seems to be about completion,
Right.
but also spiritual enlightenment.
Exactly.
1, no surprise there, is about new beginnings and forging your own path.
Uh-huh.
And 2 brings in the balance and intuition.
Yeah, what's intriguing is how these meanings are presented with different nuances.
Okay.
One source emphasizes the completion aspect of 9, while the other leans into spiritual enlightenment.
Oh, interesting.
Almost like 912 is saying,
Yeah.
hey, something's ending, but it is making way for some serious soul growth.
So it's not just the end of a chapter.
Yeah.
It's like leveling up in the game of life.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
And both sources point out that these digits add up to 3.
Uh-huh.
That's got to be important. Right?
Absolutely. In numerology, 3 represents creativity,
Oh, cool.
communication, and self-expression.
Wow.
Could seeing 912 be a nudge to tap into your creative side?
Maybe.
Or speak your truth more authentically?
Interesting.
What do you think?
Honestly, I've been meaning to revive that old blog of mine.
Okay.
Maybe this is a sign.
Could be.
But what I find super interesting is how these sources approach 912 so differently.
It's true.
One's all about divine messages. The other's analyzing frequencies and data.
Right.
How much weight should we give each perspective?
That's the core question, isn't it?
It is.
Can we reconcile these seemingly opposite viewpoints?
Yeah.
The spiritual approach might resonate with those who believe in divine guidance, while the analytical lens appeals to those who seek logic and patterns.
Right.
Perhaps it's not about choosing one or the other,
Yeah.
but recognizing that both perspectives can offer valuable insights.
So like maybe the universe is sending a message
Uh-huh.
and the statisticians are just figuring out how it works.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mind-blowing concept.
It is. But let's not get too lost in the cosmic weeds just yet.
Okay.
We also need to address the more down-to-earth aspects of 900,
Yeah.
like its implications for our relationships.
Oh, okay.
Both sources get a bit mushy here, talking about releasing past patterns,
Okay.
opening up to authentic connections, and finding balance.
And let's not forget trust.
Yes.
Let's-
Trusting your intuition.
Right.
Trusting divine timing. I'm sensing a theme here.
So right, trust is a key element.
Yeah.
Both sources emphasize the importance of trusting the journey,
Exactly.
even when things feel uncertain.
Yes, and one source even suggests that 9 and 12 could indicate finding love in unexpected places,
Oh, really?
encouraging us to stay open to new possibilities.
So no more swiping left on everyone then.
Maybe not.
Got it. But what about the not-so-fun stuff?
Like what?
One source mentions potential challenges with 912,
Oh.
like fear of change and resistance to growth. Change can be scary,
It can.
even when it's supposed to be good for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why one source emphasizes the importance of self-compassion and humor.
Oh, okay.
They suggest that acknowledging our fears, rather than suppressing them, can help us navigate these challenges with more grace and even a little bit of laughter along the way.
So basically, expect some bumps in the road, but don't forget to laugh at yourself when you trip.
Exactly.
Solid advice, I'd say.
I think so too.
Now,
Yeah.
before we get too deep into the touchy-feely stuff,
Okay.
let's switch gears and explore that analytical approach.
Sounds good.
One source went full-on data geek, breaking down the vibrational frequency of 912, the energetic attributes.
Uh-huh. And then they hit us with some statistical data.
Oh, wow.
Did you know the estimated occurrence rate of 912 in random numerical sequences is only 0.03%?
No way.
Yet among spiritual practitioners, 78% report significant life changes after encountering this number.
Seriously.
Pretty fascinating, right?
Hold on. 0.03%. That's crazy rare. So if you're seeing 912 everywhere,
Yeah,
it's probably not just a coincidence.
probably not.
Maybe there really is something to this whole angel number thing.
That's the big question, isn't it? Are we just finding meaning where there is none?
Right.
Or is there a deeper, perhaps even spiritual significance at play? The data is certainly compelling,
It is.
but ultimately it's up to each individual to interpret these synchronicities and decide what they mean for them.
Okay, I'm officially intrigued.
You too.
We've explored the mystical side, the analytical side.
Uh-huh.
What's next in our 912 deep dive?
Well, now that we understand the individual components,
Yeah.
let's zoom out and look at the combined meaning of 912 as a whole.
Okay.
What happens when we put all these pieces together, and how can we apply these insights to our own lives?
Yeah, good question.
We'll explore those questions and more after a quick break.
Sounds good.
Don't forget to check out our blog for exclusive content and offers. The link is in the description below. We'll be right back.
All right, see you in a few.
Welcome back to the Zodiac Psycho podcast. Now that we've broken down the individual digits of 912,
Yeah?
let's shift our focus to the bigger picture.
Okay.
What does this number mean as a whole?
Right.
And what kind of impact might it have on our lives?
Okay, I'm ready for the grand reveal. Both sources seem to agree that seeing 912 often signals major life changes on the horizon.
It does.
We're talking career shifts,
Right.
moving to a new city,
Uh-huh.
maybe even it's complicated relationship shakeups.
Yeah.
It's like the universe is saying,
Yeah.
buckle up, buttercup, things are about to get interesting.
That's a great way to put it.
Huh?
It's like a cosmic heads up,
Mm-hmm.
a gentle nudge to prepare for a new chapter.
Okay.
But I know what you're thinking.
What's that?
What if I like my life the way it is? Do I have to change everything just because some numbers told me to?
Right. I just finally perfected my sourdough starter.
Uh-huh.
I don't have time for a major life overhaul.
I hear ya.
But seriously,
Yeah.
is 912 forcing change, or is it more like a suggestion box?
That's where the power of personal interpretation comes in.
Okay.
Angel numbers are like whispers, not commands. They offer guidance,
Okay.
but ultimately you have the free will to choose how you respond.
So it's more like a cosmic GPS than a cosmic dictator.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's giving you directions,
Right.
but you can always choose a different route or even ignore it altogether.
Exactly. It's an invitation to reflect on your life, your goals,
Okay.
and whether you're on a path that feels authentic to you.
Yeah.
If seeing 912 sparks excitement and possibility,
Right.
then maybe it is time to embrace change.
Okay.
But if it triggers fear and resistance,
Yeah.
perhaps it's a sign to pause and examine why you're feeling that way.
I like that.
Yeah.
It puts the power back in our hands,
It does.
which can be reassuring when you're dealing with something as potentially overwhelming as major life changes.
Absolutely.
But the sources also offer some pretty practical advice
They do.
on how to work with 912 energy.
Right. We already touched on meditation and journaling,
Yeah.
but they also mentioned things like connecting with nature,
Okay.
exploring your creative side, and practicing gratitude. All of these activities can help you cultivate a sense of presence and alignment with your inner self.
So basically, the more we tune into ourselves and the world around us,
Yeah.
the clearer those cosmic whispers become.
It seems that way.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
It's about creating a space for those subtle messages to come through loud and clear.
Right.
And when you're in that receptive state, you're more likely to recognize the opportunities and synchronicities that 912 might be pointing you toward.
I agree.
It's about becoming aware of the signs and trusting your gut feeling.
Absolutely.
You know, it's funny.
What is?
I started this episode as a bit of a skeptic,
Uh-huh.
but I have to admit,
Yeah.
the more we unpack this,
Right.
the more I'm starting to feel a sense of possibility.
Interesting.
Like maybe there really is a bigger plan unfolding,
Could be.
even if we can't always see the whole picture.
I think that's the heart of it, isn't it? That yearning for meaning, for connection,
Yeah.
for something beyond the everyday hustle. And whether we find that through spirituality, science, or simply appreciating the beauty of a sunset,
Yeah.
it's a very human desire to believe there's more to life than meets the eye.
And Eve thoughts for a podcast about numbers.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's something incredibly comforting about the idea that we're not just random beings floating through space,
I agree.
that there's some kind of guiding force, a cosmic dance partner,
Yeah.
helping us navigate this crazy journey
I love that analogy.
too.
And perhaps That's the ultimate message of 912.
Hmm.
You're not alone.
Okay.
You're supported,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the power to co-create your own magical journey.
Okay, cue the inspirational music.
Aha!
But before we get too lost in the cosmic ether,
Okay.
let's ground ourselves back in reality for a moment.
Okay.
Remember how one source mentioned potential challenges associated with 912?
I do.
Things like fear, resistance to growth,
Uh-huh.
even doubting your own spiritual path.
Yes, and it's important to acknowledge that those feelings are completely natural,
They are.
especially when we're faced with the unknown or asked to step outside our comfort zones.
It's true.
It's easy to get caught up in fear and self-doubt.
So how do we navigate those challenges
It's the question.
without spiraling into a pit of existential despair? Is there a step-by-step guide to conquering our fear of change?
One of the sources offers some excellent advice.
Oh, good.
Embrace vulnerability.
Okay.
Trust your intuition. Be patient with yourself.
Right.
And remember, growth is rarely a straight line.
I've heard that.
There will be bumps in the road, moments of uncertainty,
Uh-huh.
and maybe even a few epic faceplants along the way.
Sounds like my dating life.
Yeah.
But I get your point. It's about embracing the messy, imperfect journey,
It is.
knowing that setbacks and challenges are all part of the process.
Exactly. And remembering that you're not alone in this.
Right.
We all face these challenges,
Yeah.
and we all have the inner strength to overcome them.
I'm feeling empowered already. But before we send our listeners off on their own personal growth quests,
Yeah,
we have one more part to this deep dive.
we do.
We've explored the theory, the symbolism, the challenges,
All right.
but how does all this actually play out in real life?
Good question.
Stay tuned for the thrilling conclusion,
Okay.
where we'll explore some real-life examples of how 912 has manifested for others
Sounds good.
and what it might mean for you. Don't forget to check out our blog for more insightful content and incredible offers.
Don't forget.
The link's in the description below. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Zodiac Psycho podcast, listeners. We've explored the symbolism and the potential challenges of angel number 9 Tomov. But now it's time for the grand finale, real-life stories. Let's see how this enigmatic number has played out for others and maybe gain some clues about how it might be showing up in our own lives.
Right. Our sources provide some intriguing anecdotes that really bring these concepts to life.
Okay.
For instance, there's the story of a woman who kept seeing 912 everywhere just before landing her dream job.
Wow, really?
She had been feeling stuck in her career, yearning for something more fulfilling.
Right.
And then, bam, 912 started appearing on clocks, receipts, even license plates.
Okay, that's either a sign from the universe or a seriously weird coincidence.
Right.
So what did she do? Did she just quit her job and wait for a miracle?
Not exactly. She took it as a sign to trust her intuition and take a leap of faith.
Okay,
She polished up her resume, reached out to her network, and went for it.
good for her.
And guess what?
What?
She landed the job.
See, I knew it. The universe rewards the bold. But I'm guessing 912 isn't always about career success.
Yeah, right.
There's got to be more to it than just manifesting a corner office, right?
Of course. It's about aligning with your soul's purpose, whatever that might look like for you. Another example from the source material involved a man struggling in a difficult relationship. He was on the verge of breaking up, feeling lost and uncertain about the future. Then 912 started appearing, prompting him to take a step back and really reflect on the situation.
So 912 as a relationship counselor?
Uh-huh.
Maybe I should start slipping 912 notes into my partner's lunchbox.
Maybe.
Just kidding. Or am I?
Ha ha ha.
But seriously,
Yeah.
what happened with this couple? Did they make it work?
They did. The man realized he wasn't communicating his needs effectively, so he had an honest conversation with his partner.
Oh, good.
They worked through their issues, found common ground, and emerged with a stronger, more balanced connection. It wasn't about forcing things to stay the same, but about being open to change and growth within the relationship.
Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here.
What's that?
It's not about the universe handing you a perfect life on a silver platter.
Right.
It's about paying attention to those subtle nudges and being open to possibilities, even when they might feel a bit scary or uncomfortable.
Exactly. Both sources emphasize the importance of personal responsibility and taking action. It's like the universe is saying, here's a sign, here's an opportunity, now it's up to you to do something with it.
But let's be real, not everyone jumps at the chance to shake things up.
It's true.
It's easier said than done, especially when you're dealing with deep-seated fears or patterns. So how do we make sense of 912 in a way that feels practical and empowering, not overwhelming?
That's where those thought-provoking questions from our sources come in handy.
Okay.
One that really stood out to me was,
Yeah.
if you were to see 912 everywhere, what area of your life would you intuitively feel it relates to? It's about tuning into your own inner compass and recognizing where those whispers are leading you.
That's a powerful question. I think for me, it would be about finally taking the leap and pursuing my creative passion.
That's great.
I've always wanted to write a novel,
Mm-hmm.
but I've let fear and self-doubt hold me back. Maybe seeing 912 would be the push I need to stop procrastinating and actually start writing.
That's a wonderful aspiration. And who knows, maybe this deep dive has already planted the seed.
I hope so.
Sometimes all it takes is a little spark of inspiration to ignite those dormant dreams. And remember, the journey of 1,000 pages begins with a single word.
Wise words. What about you? What area of your life would 912 illuminate? What whispers is the universe sending your way?
I think for me, it would be about deepening my spiritual practice.
Okay.
I've always been curious about meditation and mindfulness, but I haven't fully committed to exploring those practices. Perhaps seeing 912 would be a sign to prioritize my inner growth and connect with something greater than myself.
That's beautiful. It's amazing how exploring these concepts can lead us to such personal insights. I feel like we've covered a lot of ground today. Numerology, spirituality, personal growth, even a bit of relationship advice. Who knew numbers could be so multifaceted?
It's been a fascinating journey. We've debunked myths, embraced the unknown, and hopefully empowered our listeners to become more attuned to the subtle whispers of the universe.
And that's what the Zodiac Psycho podcast is all about, exploring these intriguing concepts with open minds and a healthy dose of skepticism. Because, hey, even the most grounded among us could use a little cosmic guidance now and then.
Absolutely. So, dear listeners, as we wrap up this cosmic adventure, we encourage you to reflect on what 912 might mean for you. What areas of your life are calling for transformation, growth, or maybe just a little bit of divine intervention?
Pay attention to those synchronicities, trust your intuition, and don't be afraid to take a leap of faith. You never know what amazing adventures await. And before you go, don't forget to check out our blog for more insightful content and incredible offers. The link is in the description below.
Until next time, stay curious, stay open-minded, and keep those eyes peeled for those magical numbers.
And that's a wrap on the Zodiac Psycho podcast. See you next time for another deep dive into the mysteries of the universe.